I forgot to put the music on. It was like 2 minutes before we started, so I don't know if you want me to sing, but I've got some boogie shoes on. It's good to see everybody. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for everybody to log on. Hey, Kelly, it's good to see you. I like your shirt with the heart on. That's beautiful. It's cute. Oh my gosh, it's good to see everybody. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. Hey, Deborah, I'm glad you're here with us. Hey, Julia. Hi, Kimberly. It's good to see you. Hey, Carrie. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Kelly. Good to see you. Hey, Patricia. Nice that you're here. Oh my gosh. So good to see everybody. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Amy. It's good to see you. So good to see everybody. I hope that as we head into February, you guys are getting a little break in weather. I keep waiting. I always give you the weather report here in Boise, but it's still sunny. We haven't had any rain or snow. I'm not sure what's happening here on the Pacific Northwest in Idaho, but I'm gonna pop in the chat here and welcome everybody. It's 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock here anyway. Hello, everybody. Welcome. So, let's see. Julia's in New York. So good to see you, Julia. Thanks for joining us. And Amy's in Wisconsin. Elizabeth is in Vancouver, Washington. Trish, thank you for that. I will write that down. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see everybody. Hey, Cheryl, it's good to see you. And Elizabeth, hi, good to see everybody. Wow, we are right here doing it, aren't we all? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're all here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Deborah says it's snowing cold in New Hampshire. Um, yeah, thinking it is winter for a lot of folks. We just don't have that winter weather here, but so glad that you're all here. Welcome. Welcome, Mary Alice. It's good to see you. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I just want everyone to just land. I know there's a lot going on, and for the folks that are that have been with us for a while, you're right in the middle of it. And I just want everyone to just take a moment. I get so excited when I get to see all of you, but I want everyone to just be able to land right here and just come to the space. This time is all about you guys, and really want to just invite you all to just take a breath. So if you would indulge me, I just want everyone to just kind of put your pen and paper down and allow yourself to just come into the space, because as we begin to build our practice, and as we begin to be reminded about going into the sacred space with our future clients, it's really important for us to be fully present. So I just want everyone to just close your eyes for just a moment and then just breathe in. Take a big deep breath and hold it at the top, and then just exhale it out. And I'll let you do just a couple more on your own, just allowing yourself to come into the space and just exhaling all those things on your to-do list. You can pick those up later, but for now, just allowing yourself to come here, always landing into that beautiful heart space. Remembering why you're here, remembering that this is just an acknowledgement about all the beautiful work that you are about to embark on. We can get in our head space, and that kind of holds us hostage for a bit. But if we can drop into our heart space and allow ourselves to be fully present, will serve us well, not only professionally, but in our personal lives as well. So, really helps for me when I begin to start the day, at the end of the day, and then when I go into clients' homes, just allowing myself to just be here now, be where my hands are. That's my favorite saying. So, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for indulging me. For those that are new or who haven't been to this group before, I just want to let you know that this space So I'm Christine, and I'm here to just guide you through this is clinical hours. So we're going to be talking specifically about your certified end-of-life doula training. So I just kind of want to review where everyone should be, or hopefully, and just reminding to just give yourself some grace. So just remembering that try to stay along, there's two pathways, the path to practice where you're building your practice, and then the certified end-of-life doula training, which is another path, still the same, but I will be focusing solely on Tuesdays, the end-of-life doula training portion. So I just kind of want to go over tonight group one. So we have some senior doulas here that are doing the path to practice to help launch their business and to kind of fine tune some things. We have a group that started last month, so we're lovingly calling you group one. And so group one should be on week 6. And so that is working on modules 1 through 7, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just double check. Group 6, let me just make sure. Group 6, yes, should be, we should be working on modules 1 through 7. So hopefully you've been staying caught up at least on 6 and 7. Hopefully we'll talk, I think 7 starting. So, group 1, we're working up until module 7, and then group 2. So welcome to all the new folks to the group. This is your second week. So working on modules 1 through 3. And I kind of want to take a pulse to see how everyone is doing with their end of life doula training. Maybe just by a raise of hands, how does everyone feel like they're right on track? Just kind of want to check in to see how things are going. Um, Carrie's got her hand up. Doing good. Everybody's doing okay. We're really, yeah, Julia's working on some stuff. Okay, perfect. So this time is for us to talk specifically about the clinical training for the CEOLD. And if you have any path to practice questions, I'm just going to ask that you save those for with Suzanne on your call that is later on this week. So really, we just want to focus on the end of life doula training. So group one, I just want to say you are well into your training, right? We're like halfway, right? 12, like you guys are like working really fast and hard. So I really want to just acknowledge you're doing amazing. All of you that are in group one, you're doing amazing. And I am too working on this as well. And so you help to hold me accountable, and we're hoping to help you be accountable as well. But I think you guys are all doing amazing. And then the folks that are in group 2, what you're doing is really building that solid foundation. And I'm totally transparent. I call myself out all the time about I think I missed some pieces, some important pieces when I was establishing my business, and I think that's why I love this path to practice, because it's helping to remind me maybe some loose ends that I still need to tie up. So it's really um, um, building this solid foundation of really how to have a thriving practice. So um, this is where some questions may arise, and that's totally normal. I have a tendency to put the cart before the horse, but really you have to kind of be patient and build that solid foundation. And we're here to support you. So, and just this is a lot of information. So, really just honoring everybody where they're at. So, just be patient with yourself, but just really being mindful about I'm trying to put like an hour a day of just like I'm committing to this and just trying to really stay on top of things, because it can seem like, oh my gosh, it's not a race, but feeling like, if you took a day off, that's okay. We want you to have fun and play with your family and do all sorts of things. I see Richard said he had to felt feeling a little behind because he had to attend a funeral, but didn't get but spent yesterday traveling, busy catching up today. So hopefully be starting this evening. Perfect, perfect, Richard. You're right on time. You're right on time. And life happens, right? So I just want to encourage everyone to just not stop, just keep going. And I know there's been a couple of people that have had a flu bug and just not feeling well. It's okay. We want you to rest and just be able to just pick up exactly where you are. So don't feel like you're behind. You're right on time, but just keep going. So just keep going. So, let's see. I want to just be really mindful about the space. And so I think what we'll do is maybe I'll try to answer some questions in the chat and then raising hands as well for answering questions. But because I know one of the things that I noticed in the Friday group when we were working together, people were sending me a message privately, and I'm happy to answer those questions. But if you can post the question to the group, because I have a feeling that someone else might have the same question, and it's really helpful for people to see the answer. So make sure that you're putting that in the main chat. And Kelly says, okay, Kelly, let's take a breath. So Kelly says, I'm feeling overwhelmed with everything else life is throwing me. Yeah, absolutely. Life happens. Like life, I always just say life is in full session, right? We're all in this together. And so things do happen. And so just take little tiny baby steps. I always think about, just do 1 to 3 things. And even if you just get one thing done, working on um, doing a little bit of homework. And I want to honor for sure, for sure, for sure in the homework in the beginning. We're working on some questions that take some time. Right. And so it's okay if you don't get all of your homework done, especially when we start diving into this forgiveness work. So it might bubble up some things unhealed with us, but it's very intentional. Like, please don't stop continuing to just keep dipping your toe into the self exploration, self healing, so that we can be better prepared to step into the space to serve others. So, Kelly, you're just right on time. Just take a breath. Sometimes like technology will just kind of throw me for a loop, and so I have to really just kind of step back. It's okay. Keep plugging along. We're right here with you. So don't worry. You guys are all right on time. You're doing amazing. Um, yes. Richard says keep grooving. Yep, just keep grooving on time. Yep, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about so let me just throw it out there. So does anyone have any questions about the homework or your module work? Yeah, Christina, go right ahead.
Hey, so
Hi.
my question is, so I'm in the I just finished the first week, and in reference to picking our business name, so I've narrowed it down to a couple, and I'm like teetering, and I know that until I make that decision, it's hard to be doing some of the other tactical things. But my question is that I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and pick one without knowing if it's like free and clear, like from an LLC perspective. I did a like search online, like a preliminary search, and it looks like it is, but is it advised to like have a lawyer check that out, or I don't know, like I'm open for suggestions as far as like what do most people do, right? Like are they doing the LLC search online to see if that name is taken and then
Yeah.
feel good about it, or I don't know. I was a little surprised that all of that was happening in the first week, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, so
Christine, the oh, I don't know what that was. I like just be patient with yourself. You don't have to like have it all figured out in the first week. And as we go along with the path to practice, you will these questions will be answered. Picking out your LLC, if you choose to do that, that comes later. Really, it's just this exploration of maybe kind of fine tuning, picking the name, identifying, doing some research if there's any businesses in that have similar names. But I think that what I would do, to be honest with you, is come to the meeting with Suzanne. So Suzanne is meeting with everybody. She's the one that's really the expert on answering those types of questions in the Path to Practice Launch Lab. So please make sure and join Suzanne on Thursdays from 3 to 4 Eastern Time. This time is really more about the clinical questions. So I'm kind of deferring it to the expert, Suzanne. So, but also there's a bunch of information in as we go through the modules and stuff like that. So we'll kind of address that as we go along, but picking your business name is super exciting, and but really just doing a basic search about how you can see if there's any businesses that have the same name as you just by doing a regular business search online. You can just Google, but then as far as doing analysis, we'll answer that in the future. But it's really kind of for me, it's just talking to our tax advisor to see what would be best for our personal situation. So each person is different. So we do recommend the search, doing that with your tax person, tax advisor to give you some suggestions on what would be the direction for you. So yeah, stay tuned. So, I think picking the name could be super exciting, but also just remember it's okay if you don't have it all figured out by the first week. But really kind of make forward motion and trying to fine tune that, and kind of narrow it down because I think I had 5 pages when I was trying to figure out my business name, and it can be kind of overwhelming. So stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned. Yeah, you got it. Okay, Elizabeth, what can I do for you, my dear?
So a couple questions. One might be more along the technical lines. Somebody had reached out to me and they were asking what progress I was making, and I was making progress, but they wanted me to mark it somewhere else.
Okay.
I, is that a technical question? Because I could save that for Thursday.
Yeah, so I think the team really remember that the emails are really the team is actually just here to support you, not really to, um, be there. It's just a way for the team to be able to support you to see where your progress is,
Yeah,
and so
no,
it's really important
that
to follow along and marking complete when your modules so that the
so
team.
is there two places you're supposed to mark complete? Because I had marked complete
Hmm.
at the end of the module.
Yep.
Every like there were like 8 pages and four pages or something.
Yep.
So I marked complete, and then they were telling me that they couldn't see that it was complete.
Oh,
So
okay. So
is
there's
there
two. So
another
there's
place?
two. So there's your CEOLD, your Certified End of Life Doula Training, making sure that you mark complete and next, and then also the Path to Practice. So there's two things that you'll want to be sure and mark complete too. So that.
Where are they? Or is that technical? I could save it for Thursday.
Yeah, so what I would do, Elizabeth, is I would send an email to support@doulagivers.com. And so you have your classroom that has your CEOLD training, where you have all your modules for your certification for your end of life
Course
doula.
log on, right?
Pardon?
That's course log on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. So I went through that.
And then just make sure that as you go through the modules, and there's several different sections within each module of the end of life doula training.
Mhm.
And always make sure, I want to encourage everyone when you're going through the modules, there's assets on each page. So make sure that you're clicking those, downloading those. There's all sorts of, the workbooks, those are really important to go through. So making sure that you're going through those, marking them complete, and then over where the path to practice area is, you'll just want to make sure and watch the intro video before each module. And then there's a bunch of assets on the right hand side that has a bunch of um, things to do on your task list for the path to practice.
Right. So, like when I watch the video and then I go through the pages, it
Mhm.
seems to be repeating what the video said. Is that right?
Yes, it's kind of when you watch the video that Suzanne plays, so it's a video of kind of an overview of what to expect, and then each of the assets or those downloads are specific tasks that need to be done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm apparently missing
Well,
something.
I think what I got confused in the same thing was I was only sticking to the 90-day thing which had the downloads in like week one, week two, you go through. But underneath that, if you click on the C clinical EOLD, that's where I found the shock thing because I was looking at the one page going, I can't find the shock phase. And it's because I wasn't clicking on the CEOLD. I was
Right,
only doing the 90-day
right,
thing. And I
right.
was wondering if that's the same problem she's having.
Uh-huh. Maybe.
Well, I found because I couldn't find the shock and then I did, and now I'm going
Uh,
back into it. And it still doesn't have a check on the end of it. So I'm wondering,
huh.
because it looks like, so I went through the shock phase and then it goes into a different phase. It goes into stabilization
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes into transition. So if I'm all the way up to transition, what week is that?
There's two, actually. Great question. So the transition phase has that's two
Right.
modules,
I'm just in the
actually.
first portion.
Yep. So that
Is
would be
that still week one?
nope. Let me just go through my so stabilization phase or the shock phase is week one, and then the stabilization phase, and I think I'm sorry, let me just make sure I'm telling you correctly. So, week one is module one, which is the shock phase. And then week two is modules two and three. So, modules two is the stabilization phase, and then the first part of the transition phase.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like you're right on time, actually,
I
Elizabeth.
think so.
You're
I
doing
could
great.
see that I didn't check mark as complete on the
Yeah,
bottom.
that's
Maybe I was holding onto it to refer back to it, but
I did that too. So, and I think it's okay to do the check mark, download all of the workbooks and then or all of the assets. There's
yeah,
the
I did do
workbook.
that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think you're doing good. And then just be sure, what I did, I'm such a paper girl, is that I printed out the homework assignments just on a separate piece of paper so that I can just refer to the homework and just do that in my notebook. That's what I did because I'm still attached to paper.
Me too.
So yeah, 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 yeah. It sounds like
Okay.
you're doing
I
great.
I have another question if I'm not hogging the time.
Yeah, as long
So
as it's towards the clinical
it
end.
is going to be more
Okay,
clear.
perfect.
So they want us to get start making contacts or lists of places, but do we contact them yet? Or is that coming? Because I don't feel like I'm in week two. So I don't feel like, like if I start talking to people, like I don't have a medical background. So I can't say, can you give me a shot? So are we looking to kind of like for this hours that we have to put in 15 hours
Oh,
or
yes.
something. Can we double up with a doula that is currently doing this, or are we trying to do this on our own?
Are you
Like,
talking about the volunteer hours, my dear?
yeah.
Yeah. So, so technically, we really encourage people to begin, and that's at the end of module one. Such a great question and such a good reminder for all of us. So, at the end of week one, there is a sheet on how to obtain those bedside hours. The bedside hours are going to be so important, especially perhaps even if you have past clinical experience, that will go towards your 15 hours of bedside experience. But what we recommend is for folks to maybe start exploring where you can obtain those bedside hours. I think having experience, it's always so much different when we are working with someone who is not our person, I feel like. And so it's a totally different experience. And so as we begin to get ready to do our volunteer hours, if that's what you need to do, um, there is a letter, and I will make a note to myself that is available for all the doula givers to present to a company. Say, I'm in training as an end of life doula. This is what I am exploring, and I would love an opportunity to have a volunteer experience. So we'll post that in your Facebook group. But technically, we do not encourage anyone to begin to do their volunteer hours if they don't have any experience, especially until after the fourth week. And so, and so what I do need to say is that there is a bit of onboarding there's an onboarding process that most hospices and most agencies require an onboarding process. So that's going to take some time. So that's why we initially just give out that information in that first week so you can take the steps that are needed to begin that process. So there's oftentimes vaccinations, that proof of vaccinations that's required. You don't have to get these vaccines, but if you choose not to get the vaccine, there's a declination form that you'll need to sign. Otherwise, if you prefer not to get the vaccines, you can do something called a titer, a blood test, and typically it's measles, mumps, rubella, varicella, chickenpox. There is hepatitis B. There is a TB test. Some agencies require fingerprinting, background check, CPR possibly, and there's also onboarding training that is required by most agencies. You have to spend some time getting to know the staff and what their policies are. So that takes some time. Plus, I want to encourage you to find the right place that is the perfect fit for you. So remember that not only are they interviewing you as a volunteer, I want to encourage you to kind of flip that around and consider being a volunteer. Like you interview them as well, because we have the luxury of having so many hospices here in the valley that I live in, and they're not all the same. And so what you're doing, if you are really interested in doing these volunteer hours at a hospice agency, make sure it resonates with you. Make sure that it's in alignment. Check with your heart space, and if it's a company that feels right for you, because what you're going to do is be building a relationship with this hospice company for potential future clients. And so it's really important for us to kind of just take a step back and remember that not only are you offering this incredible service as a volunteer, but you're also going to be gaining experience. And that takes some time, and that takes time for them to build trust and build a relationship. As you're getting to know them, they'll be getting to know you as well. And it's a beautiful organic process. But so that's why we introduced that first thing in the week one. So don't worry. And also, you don't have to have your bedside hours by the time you complete your certification. It's okay. You will get your certification after you finish the course. You've marked complete on all the trainings, you've taken the exam, and then you submit. After you've taken your exam, you'll be invited by the team saying, "Congratulations, you took your exam and passed. Now it's time to turn in your bedside hours." So you have time. But there's all different places that you can get bedside hours as well, and that's listed in Module 1. So thanks, great question. Hey, Patricia, it's good to see you. Hello, my dear. Hi, let me unmute you
I
here.
was just like your module one assignment one. Um, I'm a volunteer coordinator for a group of people in Cold Lake in Canada, and I spend a lot of time with my seniors, and I have volunteered a lot of hours over the years myself. So I'm actually a volunteer coordinator now. Because I spend a lot of time with these people, our seniors who have got mostly dementia and are in long-term care and things, and I visit there. Could that be included in the hours?
Yes, yes, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I actually spent just before Christmas. I actually helped one. He asked me to be there because he had no family, so I helped him
Beautiful, beautiful.
carried over. So yeah, so I just wondered if that was okay to put down as ours through Cold Lake Age Friendly, the company that I work for.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's perfect. It
Yeah,
can be it can be any past experience. It doesn't there's no timeline. It could be many, many, many years ago. It can be recent experience. It doesn't
yeah,
have
it
to
was
be
recent.
family members. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It wasn't
perfect.
family members. My
Yeah.
family are in Scotland, so
Okay.
so it's people that I have met over the years.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And so it has
okay,
to be through, you have to have at
3.
least a minimum of three people.
Mm-hmm.
One person has to be someone sitting vigil. So when someone is
Yeah,
actively dying, and then
yes,
the other experience would be at the time of death. And it can't be the same person. So it has to be two different people.
people.
And it has to be a minimum of three people 15 hours. So if there's two
Yeah,
hours here, 2 hours, and if you have that experience, then you're good to go. Yeah,
excellent. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
work that you're doing. It's beautiful. I'm so glad that you're here, Patricia. Or
Thank
Trish.
you. Trish,
Thank you.
Trish, yeah,
Trish, I'll get it.
I have followed Suzanne for years. I've bought her books and everything. And this year, it's the opportunity. I had a bit of money saved, so I thought, right, I'm going to go for it.
Excellent.
Work is
Excellent.
busy, but yeah, it's worth it. I think so.
Oh, I'm so
I
glad
think,
that
yeah.
you're here. It's all about timing, right? It's all
Mm-hmm.
about timing. That was it for
Yeah,
me too. Perfect. Thank
excellent. Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, Elizabeth, did you have another question, my dear?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Patricia, it's always great to meet a fellow Scot. I don't know many Scottish people, so love to hear that. So, I did reach out to a hospice organization that I had worked with previously, and he won't let me volunteer because my father passed away, and he said I have to wait a year before he would let me volunteer again. And I wasn't getting a good vibe from him about the doula questions that I was asking. So I was really thinking of reaching out more to like religious, to see if
Yeah.
like the pastor knows of people. Is that good experience, or that's just kind of like it should be more structured
Nope.
experience?
Nope. 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 It's perfect. It's perfect because
Okay.
that's how our experience as doula givers will go. We're going to have
Mm-hmm.
people coming into our lives from our spiritual family. We're going to have friends. We're going to have people that are just going to be um, referred to us from all different backgrounds. No, I mean, obviously, when we begin to start supporting people as either volunteers through an organization or just friends or family, they're going to naturally go into the hospice setting eventually. So you're going
Yeah.
to have that experience naturally. It'll be organic through hospice. No, it's perfect. Yeah. That's a great thing. Any kind of religious organizations, they need support as well. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, I
good.
think I'll try other hospices as well in my area, because
Great.
for him to have been so kind of off-putting with the whole idea of doula, because
Ah,
he was talking about, well, maybe we'll do that someday. So I felt like he felt like I was competing, and I'm not, of course, competing. We're trying to help here. It's not, you know, yeah, money grab or something. So
yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of it is just educating the hospice companies, that we're introducing ourselves to, that we're a team, we're here to support you, that I think there's a delicate dance that we do with hospice companies, letting them know that we're here to support them. We're not taking their place or anything like that. So, but our religious organizations and community centers, and even at some hospitals, there's an organization's called No One Dies Alone that might be in your area. So that's a great place to get your hours
I
for
looked
sitting
that up.
vigil. Hmm.
The only one I could find online was in Atlanta, so I don't know if that is just like a base and like they have. I'll have to reach
Yeah.
out to them more. Yeah.
Yeah, you could check with the hospitals themselves in your area to see if they have something like that, because I know the hospitals here do have something similar where you can sit vigil. Also, VA hospitals,
Mm,
they really need the support. So if you have a VA community, please reach out to them because that would be a wonderful place to be
okay,
of
great.
support to
Thank
them
you.
too. Yeah, you're
Appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. So let's kind of land and see. Let me go into the chat here. Mary Alice, what clinical lessons were for week two? Um, yeah, so for week two for the CEOLD, the Certified End of Life Doula training. So for week two, so when you guys go into your classroom, I want to encourage each of you to go into your classroom because you'll see different trainings. So there's your certified end of life doula training, there's your elder care, there's your care consulting, and then your path to practice. Those are all different classrooms. So make sure that you are entering the classrooms that are specific to both trainings, the path to practice and the CEOLD. Try not to worry about the elder care and the care consulting. Let's just put that to the side. That'll be for later. But for now, make sure that you're entering that classroom. And for the CEOLD, what we're talking about tonight for week 2 is modules 2 and 3. And module 2, so module 1 was the shock phase. Module 2 is the beautiful stabilization phase if people can get into that phase. It's a beautiful time for everyone. Not everybody will always reach that stabilization phase. I think I've mentioned in this group before, some people just stay in that shock phase the entire time. They go into their transition and their transition phase. So for week 2, you guys are going to be working on modules 1 through 3. So module 2 is the stabilization phase, and then module 3 is starting that transition phase. So I really wanted, because this touches both, I want to take a moment and I want to talk about module 2 in the stabilization phase because it touches both of the groups. Let me pull it out. So the stabilization phase is that beautiful stage where people enter. How would you, I guess, let me ask the group. So how would you know someone has entered the stabilization phase? Let's talk about that. What are some signs or what are some clues to know maybe someone has gotten their terminal diagnosis, the whole family, the person is in shock. So when someone is in the stabilization phase, what are some things that are possible during the stabilization phase?
A resolution,
Yeah,
unresolved issues.
perfect. Yep, yep, perfect. Yeah, you can really start. So let me back up. Let me ask the question more directly. So when someone is in extreme pain or extreme nausea, if someone is, yes, perfect, Cheryl, you named it. You nailed it. Acute issues have been addressed and under control. So when someone is in extreme pain or if they have extreme nausea, if they just are really if they're just under distress, confusion, all of these things that can happen when someone is really struggling. There's not a lot of opportunity to be able to do some of the deep and meaningful conversations to happen. And so when someone enters the stabilization phase, what are ways that we can help support people to begin to explore? So their pain is well managed, they're getting some sleep, their nausea is under control. Let's also talk about briefly acute issues, safety, and then support systems. So just imagine that all of those three things have been hit. They're comfortable, they're eating okay, possibly they have this gift of time. So what are some recommendations? What are some beautiful things that can happen in the stabilization phase? Do you guys have any ideas of what can be done in this beautiful phase? Not everybody's going to get this gift of time. Sometimes it's just days, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's months. Do you guys have any ideas? What can we do to help support people? Yeah, Mary Alice, go ahead.
Um, one of the things that might be helpful is to have the person who's passing write or participate in their obituary and funeral planning
Love it. Love
while
it.
they're still able to do it.
Love it. Perfect. Great. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Yep. Cheryl says legacy projects. Yep. Forgiveness. Is there anybody that you want to, any loose ends? Is there any relationships? Is there any pieces? Is there anybody that if you could speak to them, there was an opportunity to tie up those loose ends? Forgiveness is huge. It's so huge. Yep, Elizabeth says sit and listen, ask what they need. Yep, Carrie says start asking what's a good death to you. Memory cards, plan obituary, advance directives. Yeah, you know, hopefully by the time someone is in that stabilization phase, hopefully they're their end of life wishes have been discussed, and really all that planning hopefully has happened. One of the things that I love is the 9 choices documents. If you guys haven't seen that, Doula Givers has created this beautiful document. It's in if you go to the main Doula Givers page under free resources, and it's available to everyone. But it's this 9 choice document to really begin to think about the extra things. I kind of call it the fluff, right? So it's the advanced directive is just kind of the mechanics of how you want your end of life care to be. Do you want ventilation? Do you want CPR? Do you want these things or not? But what I think is the missing piece and the beautiful things that you can offer is what kind of music would you like? What kind of, do you want candles? Do you want touch? Do you want massage? Who do you want there? Who do you not want there? Is there letters that you would like to write? I had a doula client. Thank you, Nicholas, for putting that in. Yep, he posted the 9 choice document. It's such a beautiful document for advanced care planning. I think I spent some time with one of my doula clients writing letters. She had a sweetheart that they've been married for years, and so she wanted to write letters for Valentine's Day. And so, I sat and helped her write letters, and helping to just create something meaningful. We really get to choose how we want to spend our last days. Who do we want to spend it with? So I wanted to go over this case study because it covers both groups here. So this case study, and I really wanted to touch on this because this happens more often than this happens a lot. So the case study says it's a 46-year-old man with terminal pancreatic diagnosis. He's the owner of a very successful sanitation company. He's been married for 10 years to his wife Sarah. They have 2 sons, aged 6 and 8. They live in a house with 2 dogs and 1 cat. This patient tells you that he typically works 60 hours a week and has done that for years. He credits this dedication to the success of his company. This has allowed him to live in a big house and have nice things. He tells you that he was only diagnosed 3 weeks ago, and his doctor told him that he's expected 2 to 3 months. So when you think about answering these 3 questions, any acute issues, safety concerns, support system, but what is a conversation that could be meaningful with your pancreatic cancer? Because later, for the folks that are in group 1, we're talking about pancreatic cancer. Oftentimes with pancreatic cancer, it's just such a shock, and people stay in that shock phase almost the whole time. And so really helping to support the person who has been given this terminal diagnosis. They don't have a lot of time. They oftentimes they have difficulty with pain and nausea and all sorts of things that can be really uncomfortable, and it just goes really fast. And so the family really struggles. He has 2 young kiddos, and so he might begin to ask, what the heck have I been doing? I've been working 60 hours a week. He may have some regrets. He might share some regrets about not being able to spend time with his kiddos because he's been working so much, and that happens all the time. So I'm wondering what your thoughts were. You can put it in the chat about some thoughts about what questions you might ask. How do you feel? What do you feel might be the most supportive in that situation? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen in your practice. Someone's going to get a terminal diagnosis. They have weeks to possibly just a couple months to live. What are some doula giver pearls that you can share with one another? Yes, Richard, excellent. We only have right now, like we have today. I get that question a lot as a doula. How much time? It's like we have a crystal ball. I don't know, but I know that we have today, and that's all we have. And so really just beginning to invite those kiddos to participate. Um, Words only matter if you're around to say them and the other person is around to hear them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Carrie, that's beautiful. Letters for kids at special occasions. That's beautiful. That just I get emotional all the time when I think about I had a doula client who had pink ALS, and I just think about she had an 8-year-old grandson, and you know, trying to navigate these difficult situation or difficult conversations, and she just did it beautifully. She just described, you know, remember when our cat Fluffy passed away, and you know, and just kind of talking about you know um, that you know life will end, and everything does die. She just had this beautiful explanation about, you know, we and I will die someday, and really helping to prepare, inviting those kids into the space. As hard as it is, I think it's really helpful for kids to understand that death is a natural part of life. And I know for me, we try to shield our children as best we can, um, but sometimes I think inviting them and the pets, you know, also, you know, this gentleman has 2 cats or two dogs and 1 cat, inviting them into the space. So, what other things can you think about? What are things that you can explore with your client? Because remember, as doula givers, we have the gift of time, right? I would ask him, what legacy are you leaving to your kids? How could I help honor and continue and share your legacy? Beautiful. Beautiful. Yep. Yep. It's beautiful. And I think everyone's going to be different. You know, he, like I mentioned, he might have some regrets about, gosh, you know, what did I do? I just worked, and I missed these opportunities of playing ball with my kids and all of that. And rather us trying to fix it, just holding space, you know, acknowledging that this might be a really tough time, but acknowledging perhaps what a great dad you are. Look at this amazing house that you built. You know, you've created this beautiful, safe, um, you know, you've been able to set them up and be able to give them things. Um, and acknowledging where he's at. I think
But
sometimes,
what if they say, well, none of that really matters now because they're now coming to that realization?
yeah.
What do you say back to them if they're like, well, that's irrelevant because that's all I spent my time doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just, I do, you know, I can't fix it when people acknowledge, when they have these regrets at the bedside. I do a lot of reflective questions back to them. You know, I am so sorry. So what I'm hearing you say, and then I pause because oftentimes they come to their own conclusion on their own. I don't have to. You know, I think one of my favorite sayings is do not speak unless it's an improvement upon silence. And so I've really been able to practice the pause of just listening and bearing witness. We're not in the job to fix this. We're just there to bear witness and hold space for them. And I do a lot of reflecting back. What I'm hearing you say, oftentimes when people are at the end of life and when they take their last breath, I'll whisper in their ear, good job well done. And I hope that somebody will whisper that into my ear. This business of living is really hard, and I think that a lot of us will have regrets, you know, at the very end. But but I think that our job is to not fix, but to just honor where they're at. They're processing a lot of things. So let me go into the chat. Trisha, celebration of life with family and friends before he leaves. Yes, I love that idea. Yes, yes, the celebration of life and have the person at the end of life actually participate in that celebration. It's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, invite them all in. You know, being able to, you know, why do we wait until somebody passes away to say all these amazing things at funerals? Why can't we tell that person how much we love them and all these beautiful things? My husband had just turned 70, and so I threw him a surprise birthday party and I asked 70 of his closest friends and family to write a little love letter. And so he got to have 70 letters of stories. Some people made amends to him, some people, you know, shared silly things, some were very serious. And now he's got this box of of letters that he can pull out at any time. And I just think that why do we wait until someone is gone to tell them how much we love them? Like, tell them now. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that we get to do and remind people, like, tell your person you love them. Say it, get it all out. Practicing the pause. Yep, yep. Oh, Kelly, I said, do not speak unless it's an improvement upon silence. That's kind of my little mantra. Yeah, yeah. The other Rumi quote is the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. That's one of my other my favorite quotes. I think we're not in the job of fixing this, and sometimes people are going to be in that shock phase the entire time. And some people are going to have a lot of regrets. And so, um, I think what I've learned most about is just bearing witness to the suffering. And we're not here to fix it. We're just there to walk beside them and allow them to have a safe space to process and just be there if they're open to it. We wouldn't want to force, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. And, it's like, they may not be ready for that. So that's why it's really important to build that trust early on. Show up when you say you're going to show up and just be present. We're not here to, I think my biggest thing is when I first started this work, I just wanted things to be like, put it in a pretty little package with a bow. Here you are. Here's your beautiful end of life experience. It's not like that. Like I was really like just, I had these expectations. It can be messy. There's all these different family dynamics that are going on. Some are at that point of acceptance, some are not there at all. And so we just meet people where they are and not where we wish them to be. Super, super important. So great job, everybody. I wanted to kind of pop into module 6 because we were talking about pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, liver disease, and then just really kind of wanted to see if anyone in that in group 1 to see if anyone had any questions in those later modules. We've got about 10 minutes, so I want to make sure I answer. Does anyone have any questions? Otherwise, we can work on another case study. How are we doing? Anyone have any questions? Okay, so let's talk about the transition phase. So I know for the folks that are in week 2, so you have entered the transition phase. So let's talk about the transition phase. Let's talk about what are some signs. We may have talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago, but since we have a new group, I want to go back to this. What are signs? What are telltale signs that someone is entering the transition phase? Because
Can't
you are
swallow.
the eyes and ears. Yep, exactly, Richard. Yep. You are the eyes and ears for hospice. So we have to be really, really good at identifying signs that someone is entering their transition phase. Yep, Deborah. Yep, Richard. Excellent. Yep, not wanting to eat, trouble swallowing. Sometimes they'll pocket their food. They'll be eating, sitting at the dinner, the table and eating for like an hour. It's like, okay, what's going on? We really need to pay attention to that. Um, I heard my man back chew his meds, and I knew, yeah. It's like, okay, we're there, right? We're there, and I think so. When Suzanne says, if someone hasn't eaten, 2 meals, begin to observe, where this is going with our dementia, with our memory care patients, that there's going to be these ebbs and flows. There are going to be those memory care patients whose appetite decreases. They may not eat a meal for a day or longer, and so we have to just be aware of what's going on. So what are some other things? Yep, Carolyn, perfect. Sleeping most of the day. So if you start seeing, that's typical. So difficulty swallowing, you're noticing that they're really chewing. You have to remember it takes a lot of work to eat, right? It takes a lot of work to digest, to chew. Someone like 11 muscles in there. Like it takes a lot of energy. So difficulty swallowing, or they just are not that hungry, weight loss, sleeping more. So they were sleeping 12 hours a day. Now they're sleeping 16 to 20 hours a day. Red flag, red flag. We know we're heading into that area. Oh yeah, wouldn't eat ice cream either. Yeah. Yeah, yes, Mary Alice, perfect. Yes, they start seeing angelic figures, or they start receiving visitations from their loved ones. And so that is, that can be weeks to months actually beforehand. And so really being aware, I've heard some family members, oh, that's, my mom seeing their mom, and they kind of talk about them being confused or having delusions when really I don't know what they're seeing, and I can't I don't want to dismiss that, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. um I always talk about, never shaming anyone, because that causes a little bit of fear. Oh my gosh, my mother is now talking to her dead mother. That might that might alarm some people. And so really this is an opportunity for education. Perhaps consider that they might be entering into their transition phase. This is a very common phenomena. It's very common. And so really being able to educate family members to not be alarmed that they may be heading into that stage. So yeah, Elizabeth, if I see your hand is raised, go right ahead, my dear.
So my father just passed in November. So he was in the hospital, and he had an experience like that. So he told us, and the joy in his voice from having seen, um, it was strange who he saw. He didn't see like my brother or his parents, but he saw people who he knew. But just that joy in his voice. And I said to him, um, I wanted to get back to it. A lot was going on because they told us, come, your dad's not doing well. He's not responsive. I got there and he was very responsive. And he told me I have this folklore to tell my children, my grandchildren, and all this stuff. So it was a beautiful story, a lot of joy in his voice. But it's funny when I tell people that the look on their face is just like, okay. And you know what? I truly believe it, because it was weird. I went to him like maybe like half hour after we had gotten there and this whole thing happened and things were starting to settle down. And I said, tell me more about that. And he said, I can't, because now I'm back on Earth and I can't remember all the details.
Wow.
But it was such a beautiful day, and I wish he had died that day or the day after. But nope, the hospital just had to. Anyway, but just like that, it's just so strange how some people believe that and others don't. And I just thought that was such a gift that he gave to all of us. So I happened to record it too.
Oh, I love that
Um,
so much.
yeah.
Yeah, it is a gift. I think as long as, okay, so two things come to mind when I start thinking about this phenomena that happens, right? So our instinct is like, oh my gosh, they're hallucinating, or not us, but maybe family members, or, someone else might think, oh my gosh, they're hallucinating, we need to medicate. Um, and I'm not a big fan of medications, but I do think our top concern, remember, it's the top three things, right? We have to think about safety, acute issues, and support system. When a person is in fear, which doesn't happen a lot, at least I haven't seen that to be true, but it has happened on occasion. If someone is fearful, then medications perhaps could be appropriate, because they have one foot in this world, one foot in the other world, and they become a little kind of confused, coming back to this plane, this physical plane. So it can be a little confusing, right? And so, especially if they're sleeping a lot. But what can happen, is safety, right? So we really want to make sure when someone is entering that transition phase, they're sleeping more, they're eating less. What's going to happen is they're going to get weaker and weaker. And so their ability to get up and maybe walk to the bathroom and do the things that they normally do, you're going to notice some pretty significant weakness. So safety is our number one concern. That is just non-negotiable. Like we have got to make sure that we are watching, especially when someone is entering that transition phase, because confusion can happen. And so falls can happen in this point. And so it's really, really, really important. Make sure you have, some kind of alarm or, I don't like some kind of, like a, not a, like a baby monitor. I hate using the word baby monitor, some kind of monitoring system for sound or, with a camera so that you can kind of observe them. A bell, if they have the ability to ring the bell, not always, but safety is our number one concern, especially when they're entering that transition phase, because we do not want our loved ones or our person to fall. So it's really important to be mindful about educating our family members about that. So it's really critical. We've come to the end of the hour. I'm so excited for you guys. What great questions, great conversations today. I am so thrilled for all of you. Congratulations. Like you are moving right along. Group one, entering your week 6. I love it. We loved for everyone to write done in the Facebook group. I saw some new folks introduce themselves in the group. Share a little bit where you're from, what brought you to the space. I think it's really important for us. We connection. I lovingly call you all my DFFs. You're my death friends forever. So I love that we can get to know one another and share your wins, like, oh my gosh, I just did my homework or something like that. So we're all here to cheer you on. So I want to just make sure, so module or group one, so we want you guys to be working on modules 6 and 7 this week and in your CEOLD, and then want to make sure that you guys are feeling supported in that group. I'm trying to look to see if there is anyone in group one here. Deborah, perfect. Yeah. Do you have any questions? You're doing okay? Okay. Okay. So just want to make sure. Yeah, Mary Alice, go ahead. You have a question?
No, it's not really a question, but for those of us in group 2 who
Yeah.
are considering the bedside,
Yep.
I have a very strong suggestion that you approach assisted living facilities, because these are people who have already thought about, they've already given up their homes, but they're still lucid and they still usually have several years of life left.
Yep.
So, if we're not ready for hospice or hospice is not ready for us, try an assisted living facility. I think that would be a good place, and ask the director to suggest clients from there.
Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
all.
Perfect. Thank you. No, it's perfect. Yeah, I think anywhere that is supporting our elders is a great place to volunteer. And like if everyone could be a doula, wouldn't that be amazing? Just really being able to support people. So, okay, so just want to make sure group one, Deborah, you're in group one. You feel like you're doing okay with your homework. Okay, perfect. Okay. Well done. Congratulations. We did it, everyone. Good job. Make sure that you mark complete like we were talking about early on in the program. Make sure to come to your Path to Practice launch lab with Suzanne. That's always such a great time. So that's Thursdays from 3 to 4 Eastern time. And then of course Wednesdays is Life Cafe. That's a beautiful group. And then hopefully you'll be able to help or to join us in office hours on Friday, which has been so fun. So that's Fridays from 12 to 1 Eastern time. And we'll do check-ins, and that's a co-working space. So if you're feeling like you really want to set some time apart, set some time to really work on your stuff by the end of the week, please join us. Can we get a picture? Please, I love the pictures because I love seeing all of your faces. So what we're going to do is hit the reaction button with the heart, just like that. All right, everybody, say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Congratulations, you guys are doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. Well done. Well done. Okay, we'll see you guys in the groups. All right, we're here for you. Okay, take care. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Nicholas, for your help.